If you're ready to upgrade from using your camera's LCD screen to using an external monitor, then this video is for you. I'm going to be reviewing a budget monitor option from Andy Cine, the A6 Mark II. This is a 5.5-inch 1600 nits bright external monitor that has a ton of features that helps filmmakers like us compose better videos. So I'm going to cover exactly what you get in this specific kit, a little bit of some nerdy specs for people out there who are into that sort of thing, and of course, my personal experience and who I think this monitor is for. So you can decide if this is something that you'd like for yourself. A huge shout out to Andy Cine for actually sending me this monitor to review, but they had no say in what the final product of this video was going to be. And so these are my own opinions, and in fact, I'll even share at the end whether I'm going to be keeping this monitor or not. But first, why would you want an external monitor? So external monitors are super useful for filmmakers for a few reasons. The obvious reason being that an external monitor is much larger than the LCD screen on your camera. Having that larger screen can help you avoid many mistakes, whether that be in your focus, composition, or even exposure. But sincerely, my favorite part about any external monitor is actually LUT support. Because I do shoot in a log formats, I get sort of tired of looking at this flat, desaturated image on the back of my LCD screen. But with an external monitor, with LUT support, you can actually overlay the LUT you're going to use in your edit, and you can sort of get a view of the final image on camera on site, which honestly just makes filmmaking so much more easier and much more enjoyable when you can sort of see the final product on your camera. And personally, I think external monitors make you look really cool and can add a nice little professional touch when you're doing client work. And the great thing is, the Andy Cine A6 Mark II has all of this and a few more features. So let's cover what you get. So you have two options when you go to buy this monitor. You can actually get the monitor itself or get a kit with a bunch of accessories to go with it. If you go the accessory route, you pretty much can use the monitor immediately because it comes with all provided cables, mounts, and even the battery so that you can use it straight out of the box. It comes with a carrying case, sun hood, a mounting arm, a rechargeable NP-F battery with the USB-C charging cable for it. In my case, an HDMI to micro. It comes with this little disassembly wrench and a USB-A to USB-C adapter so that you can help import LUTs onto the monitor. And of course, it comes with the monitor itself. So let's talk specs. This is a 5.5-inch screen diagonally and weighs just about 8.5 ounces with this battery plate on the back, which you can remove, meaning it could be even a little bit lighter. It has a maximum capacity of 1600 nits of brightness, which is absolutely amazing and is what really drew me to this monitor because I do shoot outside a lot and 1000 nits is clearly not enough when you're shooting outside without needing some sort of sun hood. It is touchscreen capable and has a bunch of ports all around. It has an HDMI in, out, the DC 12 volt in. You have these customizable function buttons on the top, the menu, a touch on and off button, the up and down buttons, a power button obviously, and you have actually 4 spots for 1/4-inch threads on the top, the side, the bottom, and actually directly on the back. Then on the bottom of this device, you have an 8-volt DC out, a headphone port, a USB-C for not only inputting power, but also uploading LUTs and updating the firmware. And because Andy Cine provided this power kit, it comes with this NP-F adapter on the back that you can basically mount to another device that uses NP-F batteries and have other external uses. So you can actually send a wireless feed, which is what I've seen on their web page for what this adapter can do. And then, of course, you have all the features that you want as a filmmaker. For example, histograms, which come in all the different varieties, which you can see here. Then you have zebras, which you can set manually to see what IRA value that you want them to appear on. And then of course you have false color, which I find extremely useful, unlike the one on the Canon R6 Mark II, which I'm using right now. This one is a lot more accurate and has a little more nuance, making it easier to actually judge exposure across my image. And this monitor provides focus peaking support. This effect shows you what's in focus by highlighting that area in a specific color. I prefer having it in red, but you do have the option for setting it to blue or green as well. The monitor even supports anamorphic desqueeze, so if you do use anamorphic lenses on your camera, you can actually desqueeze it on the monitor so you can see the final image instead of just that squeezed image on the back of your camera. And then of course you have the basic framing tools like a 3x3 grid and different aspect ratios that you can overlay so that if you do plan to crop it in and make those aspect ratios yourself, you can see what is safe and in frame in your shot. So now that we have all that covered, how good is this monitor really? As I previously mentioned, there was a few things that drew me to this. One, its brightness, and two, LUT support. The fact that this thing can hit 1600 nits when most monitors can barely do 1000 nits means it's extremely versatile for anyone who actually does shoot outside. That's actually why I used to have this Feelworld 7-inch monitor, because that used to have 2000 nits of brightness, which is what I thought you needed to shoot outside. And honestly, I think 2000 is better than 1600 for shooting outside. But 1600 is leaps and bounds better than 1000 nits, so I think you'll be fine for most cases. But if you do have a problem, they do provide a sun hood that you just simply mount around the monitor, which is super convenient because the Feelworld one that I bought didn't come with any sort of sun hood at all. And as for the LUT support, it seems to work perfectly fine. I've had no issues. In fact, it actually seems to be more accurate than the Feelworld monitor I currently use in terms of how the image compares to the final image when I do upload it onto my computer. The only reason it doesn't match it, I would say 1-to-1, is that the monitor only supports 8-bit color, and when I do shoot in log, the camera is actually recording in 10-bit. So there's like subtle differences, but I think overall you'll be very happy with how LUT support is on this camera, or rather monitor. I've had no issues with the touchscreen capabilities. That was actually something I was worried about, especially when it comes to cheaper monitors. Sometimes either the operating system or the touchscreen is kind of finicky, but this one seems to work perfectly fine. And it's mostly organized in a pretty reasonable fashion. The only thing I did notice is that the LUT support is on a page that I don't think it should be, which is like the user settings page. I would imagine you would put that in the colors page, but I digress. I was also really impressed by the abundance of powering options that this monitor actually has. For some reason, you do get that DC in, you get that USB-C in as well, and then you have those batteries that you can just simply mount on the back of the monitor to power it as well, which is phenomenal in case you don't have a cable or you forgot something, or based on your setup, you want to use something that isn't require a cable, but rather just uses the battery. So you really have a lot of freedom in that department. I also really appreciate all the mounting options. I did mention that they had 1/4-inch screw threads around the whole body minus the left side of the monitor, which is where the HDMI ports are, so that makes a ton of sense. However, I did not like the mounting arm that comes with the monitor. It's actually the same one that the Feelworld monitor came in with, and I just really find that one to be a little clunky. I don't really like the look of it. It looks kind of weird and ugly in my personal opinion. And I'm honestly really afraid to use that mount on my cold shoe because it looks like it could possibly rip off, or I don't know, it just doesn't look very secure to me or safe. And I'm afraid it's actually going to scratch the digital like sensor that I have in my hot shoe because it is a digital hot shoe. So I don't use that one at all. Instead, I use a different mount. I've tried both the SmallRig and the Falcam quick release monitor mounts. And on that note, if you try to mount it on the bottom, you'll end up blocking the headphone port, which is kind of unfortunate. I had this similar problem with the Feelworld monitor where your bottom mount actually blocked the DC in port. So it's frustrating, but it's okay because I don't really use the headphones too often. On the monitor, I actually just usually plug it into the camera body. The monitor's build quality is nothing really to be impressed by. It is mostly plastic, it feels like. So I would try to be careful when handling this because if you drop it from a pretty moderate height, I would imagine you're actually going to do a lot of damage to the internals and the externals of this monitor. So definitely something to be cautious about and understand that. I think that comes with the lower price tag is the lower quality of materials that is used to build the body. And I really do appreciate that they provide this rechargeable NP-F battery for the monitor. So you pretty much can buy this kit and go straight to shooting because you have the provided cable, power, and the mounting arm, and then of course the monitor to use all of it together. And I really do appreciate the 5.5-inch size monitor that it is because I'm very much used to 7-inch monitors, and I think it kind of can get a little overkill and obnoxious carrying a 7-inch monitor around on my small mirrorless camera. I mean, it does great for client perception, and I really do like the screen real estate that comes with 7 inches, but the 5-inch is much more compact, but still much larger than your LCD screen. So you can pretty much see everything that you need to see in a little more compact form over something like a 7-inch monitor. And lastly, if you are looking for a monitor that can do external recording, this monitor has no recording capabilities whatsoever, so that is something to keep in mind. All right, so who is this monitor for? So anyone on a budget who really needs an extra ultra bright monitor for shooting outside and also just wants to have one kit that comes with everything included could possibly consider the Andy Cine A6 Mark II. Of course, if you wanted external monitoring, as I previously mentioned, this monitor does not provide that, so that may be a deal breaker if that's something you wanted. This is a great starter monitor because it is so cheap. I believe if you just get the monitor itself, it is $160, but if you get the kit, it's only $10 more for $170. And in fact, it's even cheaper than my 7-inch 2000 nit FieldWorld monitor, which I also think is probably in similar quality when it comes to image, touchscreen, and brightness. And that one was like $270. But this isn't some sort of high quality monitor like an Atomos Ninja or Shinobi. But those do retail for about $500 to $1,200 depending on the model and make that you get. So you are saving a ton of money if you go this route. So it's a great way to get started using an external monitor and getting all the benefits without having to pay such a high premium on the cost. So is the Andy Cine A6 Mark II the best of the best with honors, sir? No. But will it get the job done at an affordable price? Absolutely. So if you are interested in the Andy Cine A6 Mark II, I do have a product link in the description box below, so you can go check it out for yourself. This is an affiliate link, which means I receive a small commission if you do use that link at no extra cost to you. And I really appreciate if you do use that link, so thank you so much. So am I going to be keeping this monitor? And the short answer is yes. I like having the option to go either with my 7-inch field monitor or this now more compact 5-inch monitor, which is a lot more discreet depending on the situation that I'm in. And it would still help me out in the field when it comes to framing, exposure, etc. So what do you guys think of this monitor? I'm not really familiar with all the budget monitors out there. I've only seen FieldWorld and Andy Cine so far, but so far they seem extremely similar and extremely competitive for all the features that you do get. If you want to check out all the gear I use to make my videos, you can check it out in the description box below. And if you want to see more gear reviews just like this one, check out this playlist here. Thank you all so much for watching all the way until the end. I really appreciate you. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.